to write down what we tell them. At the day of exams, they should put down what we have told them. We say you are the best student the country has ever known. That kind of education system will not transform Ghana. That kind of education system is not going to give us critical thinking individuals, especially since we are in the 21st century and education 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution. You can't memorize your way out of poverty, but you can critically think and innovate out of poverty. So Ghanaian schools, Africans will have to begin to take a serious look at what I call the assertive curriculum. A curriculum that empowers the African child to ask questions and challenge the status quo respectfully within the African cultural context. But not a curriculum that tells the African child to be quiet and don't say anything when the adult is speaking. Go to schools upon schools and I speak with the students. And when I finish speaking with them, I'll say, do you have a question for me? No hand goes up. A hand is just to go up. In all my encounters in Ghanaian classrooms, we have tamed the children. We just want them to write down what we tell them. At the day of exams, they should put down what we have told them. We say you are the best student the country has ever known. That kind of education system will not transform Ghana. That kind of education system is not going to give us critical thinking individuals, especially since we are in the 21st century and education 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution. You can't memorize your way out of poverty, but you can critically think and innovate out of poverty. So Ghanaian schools, Africans will have to begin to take a serious look at what I call the assertive curriculum. A curriculum that empowers the African child to ask questions and challenge the status quo respectfully within the African cultural context. But not a curriculum that tells the African child to be quiet and don't say anything when the adult is speaking. Go to schools upon schools and
But to be the same case, we was there. A free sanitation Ghana from 1957. Ever can they now president be our one Ghana check and have the number. They say free 1957. But can they move from a crowd improvement or move from a or Ghana who buy and the Ghana could have been check and have the number and before.
But that time you can't go into the evidence. So I made a statement, Kwame Nkrumah. I subsequently had to go to Nkrofo and speak to the chiefs there and explain the context of the statement.
You actually apologized?
Yes. And explain the statement. Because in politics, if somebody misunderstands, misquotes, or you allow your communication to be misread or to be misunderstood, you have to own it. So I own it, and that is why I issued the statement. Not that the context was wrong. Not that the context was wrong. You support Manchester United?
I do.
I support Manchester United, so we can't use it as a... You support Accra House of Folk? Kotoko? Okay, so I'm a die-hard fan of Kotoko. So if I'm teasing Oli people and I said, more Oli for me, I'm not really insulting Olympics. So I'm just upping Kotoko for because we need Kotoko ni. Right? So it was totally misunderstood. But it generated a lot of backrow. But I would always ask Nkrumah always to God furious. I apologize to them. But they should go and read Kwame Nkrumah's last days from Guinea. Look how he described his own CPP. He said the CPP was dead. That's what Kwame Nkrumah was writing. So we don't say these things out of lack of respect. You know me. I have friends everywhere.
But to be the same case, we was there. A free sanitation Ghana from 1957. Ever can they now president be our one Ghana check and have the number. They say free 1957. But can they move from a crowd improvement or move from a Obiara di wa ba di ba kwanya. Opo Ghana ho pan. Ade Ghana kola ni China na ndakwa akufuado. Me ka the sir. David Chama. Dia so.
Abusiame ma obibia akwaba oba ke indina milo me mayinia eye atnase eba eye Dr. Ren TV so ewo YouTube. Of course, unyaba you subscribe to the channel, you support me by subscribing and also by hitting the notification button. At any time be a bebiano, you will be the first person to join the conversation. The comment section is also there for you. Let's contribute. Let's comment. You know, we are building a nation, Ghana. Ghana belongs to all of us. So indeed, we must add our voice. You know, we were told by our forefathers that, you know, arise Ghana youth for your country. And, you know, in another place too, we were told that we are all involved in building Ghana. So today I'm here, you know, to have a conversation with you all. Minchia Ayefilida Amanfo na Owens. Mo amoshe mo Facebook kunsi na aswe ma munyina mo akwaba. Now, and the conversation na ayeba bedino. A conversation bi a ehu hia pa. Mate say NPP for a year 31st January. Me first born, my daughter's birthday. NPP ebekwa akwa toaba na omayi flag bearer. I will be the NPP party name. Now we'll be contested the general election in 2028. Now, credibility matters as to who or the person I do on my Ghana to lead our nation. In life, character is very, very important. You know, when a person, our character, his words, his deeds, his actions are all in tandem. What the back can say more in simple put. Nipa ne sia woyo enti kwa ahemfia etaika se oh na nadie osi oyo enti oyo osi ade yo. Now maka ne say wi no and this conversation conversation bi a me mpese Ghana for yire befi, because I remember clearly what our former president and now president told Ghanaians, and he was not being somebody ana oye cheeky to Ghanaians, but he was telling the truth. So, on my Ghana and check near real free idea. And so, because of that, I want us to have a conversation about a year and maybe a ACC and in maybe a ACOSO under Nana Adudankwa Akufo-Addo's government. Now, having so ye boy buying ya what is koko. Se omunkin kai womo na the omo promise Ghana no. Efa the oral no omunya nentem. So today we are going to have a conversation on the free Wi-Fi scandal. At a year, the Auditor General but it looks as if we've gone quiet on the Auditor General's report. And that is the reason why in TND I want us to talk about this. How NAPO, how a year Adutwum, and a year Busy Internet stole the nation a year public a year funds. TMA. How NAPO, how Dr. Adutwum and the opposite NPP for Tony Swaba no be ye a friend is saying flag bearer for the NPP. Any Busy Internet ball Ghana chrono and won't come out and any ye babidi. TMA. So that at least maybe I won't tell ye, maybe I won't ye. That is the reason why Papa Ghana, my father told me also, because I love my nation, because also dog Ghana until you are here. You share the video, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, spreading the news. I'm gonna do actually. Now, free Wi-Fi scandal, Ministry of Education wasted 430 million Ghana cedis meant to provide internet for students, Ghana Education Service Office and our offices. Now, these are the three people involved in this scandal. These people. Perhaps Munyina Muni Muomo, Dr. Adutwum Onye, and a Busy Internet, and a friend is saying Dr. Adutwum Nye, me camera no. Dr. Adutwum Onye, Busy Internet, and then NAPO and Sunye. Now, a dear na akoso. Mamen ko Auditor General a year 2024 report. Na men kinkan a year scandal no esino and fanchre. I've told you this platform is about the fact, nothing but the fact and the truth. Uhu se me kun bi ho asem a men kan ho asem se me pese me penanim go ase. Na emum de waye no na me ka ho asem. Oye papa a meka. Oye bone nso a meka. We are building a nation. I am a Ghanaian, a stakeholder. Una wonfa Ghana ho a, I care about Ghana. Intimeka Ghana ho asem. Now, according to the Auditor General report, or indictee, the Ministry of Education for implementing Akufo-Addo's government's free Wi-Fi project for senior high schools without a clear implementation plan. Just say, Auditor General abo Akufo-Addo aban sobo. Say free Wi-Fi no, enshi sheye no omu ye no. A omu de ma secondary school no. Omu tu anamon abra no omu ni plan. Bia ewa akwanya ombefa so edi wo madwuma. Ora abusa ite seseku, I see you. Welcome, sir. Now, according to the Auditor General report for 2024, resulted in the payment of more than 430 million Ghana cedis to a project contractor, even though no services were rendered for long periods. This is the Auditor General report. I am not making the story up. I am not saying anything anymore. Inti channels. Oh, you know Adumasa, or say, my sister, noble, and birthday. All right, happy birthday, sis. May you live to be 150 years old in good health. Riches, may your husband do you good. What you say? Mano. Famano no some famao. Anyway. So, naminfa ehonsi namin twaso. So the Auditor General report is just say a payment of Ghana's public funds to the tune of 430 million Ghana cedis were paid to Busy Internet by the Ministry of Education for no service rendered for a long period. Now, the problem plaguing the free Wi-Fi project were first reviewed by the Fourth Estate in 2024. Ebusiani ebekin kan ni oma kakra contempt no aya atobo ase. Oti ase ebekin kan ai yesi Ghana form parking kan be dey ebekin kan. Enam ze yem parking kan ti politicians no omo de share achrochro no mu awia ye ti ebekin kan. Now, yento aso. The Fourth Estate in 2024 with whistleblower evidence pointing to procurement breaches, poor service delivery, and what happened to be an orchestrated scheme. Underline the word orchestrated. Buapayo yashada. To defraud the state. Ekwanya, Adutwum, any NAPO, any Busy Internet, ebo trimupo, say a beshada evia woman Ghana. This is what a year report, eka. Now it goes on to say that investigative report based on 1 year of project records indicated that 54 million Ghana cedis had been paid to the contractor Busy Internet for little to no work. And say, this is what the Auditor General is saying. Now, Auditor many person be president of Ghana. You see, kwatre kwasi obema wontoma fatwaso. Now, yenko. But the latest report by the Auditor General reveals that after 4 years, the free Wi-Fi project cost Ghanaian taxpayers money. Oba Brucha, I tell you, so public funds. So people, when they hear public funds, the padodo yesika a yɛde ahyɛ nkɔfukuo bi nsa sɛ ɔmo nhwɛ so yie na mfasoɔ mbra so no. Under Akufo-Addo's government, the Minister of Education, NAPO, any ono ni nua Adutwum orchestrated to defraud Ghana over 430 million Ghana cedis. Now, yen to us. I see, after 4 years, the free Wi-Fi project cost Ghanaian taxpayers almost 500 million cedis, with little to show for that expenditure. So I see Kano almost spend a year no. Eye bibi kakra bi no metim de akyere se omde sika ne ye. Enti sika bebre no ne omo fa se omde ye free Wi-Fi ne dodo no. According to Auditor General, say bibi kakra bi no omde be kyere. Enti bibi kakra no omde kyere no sika na aka no e wo hemfa. Sika no wo hen. Se ne abrantie bibi sa wo MTN no. Na sika no wo hen. Sika na hye. Menji ni se ahye. Omo ti ase. Ebebusa wo. Now, yento us. Or say the best the nation got out of the project can only be described as intermittent internet. I say doom so internet. Yebunu tot. Intermittent. Sisi. Internet no Wi-Fi no and flow wa sisi. Intermittent. Or say the best the nation me nu me enu yesika no emfaso ye nya free Wi-Fi no ne say free Wi-Fi no ayede ma yen secondary school for the Ghana Education Service na aboa wo mo adesua mo research mu no NAPO any Adutwum free Wi-Fi no sisi. Oma anya adwuma papa bia squandered our money. Timie Auditor General na eka membo metrimu ka assembi ewa ha into the way I would wani hwe no according to Auditor General report or say orchestrated scheme to defraud. You said that bopo see be wia o my Ghana. Now, to us. The best the nation got out of the project can only be described as intermittent internet supply to a few schools, frustrating teachers, students, and school administrators. In his latest report, the Auditor General expressed disappointment in the failure of the project to deliver what it had promised, even though a lot of money had been spent on it. Now, he goes on to say, providing, and I quote, providing internet service to schools, colleges, and educational offices is a laudable initiative that involves high ICT investment cost. The Auditor General says in his report, hence, the absence of a clear implementation plan or formal policy and procedure to optimize the delivery of the intended benefits undermine the value for money in the investment being made. Now, the Auditor General can say, "Enke ya de pa, see my school no free a Wi-Fi. Na se bio metimi edu omujuma na teacher for no so tumi edu mujuma. But we hwe mu pan dia, ekwan ya aban ne fa so ni nyina no. Se ne mdi nkan no, eye boapayo to defraud the taxpayer our monies." Or say the free Wi-Fi project was initially budgeted to cost 84.4 million Ghana cedis. This amount was meant to be used to install modems in 717 senior high schools, 16 Ghana Education Service regional offices, 260 Ghana Education district offices, 46 colleges of education, as well as the delivery of broadband services at a monthly cost of 6.3 million in Canada. But here, what mu kwan ya na sika no initial budget no na ebe cost me no ye taxes a ye tua na ye de bema ye schools free internet wa kire ye colleges dodo a na ye bema wo mo wa kire ye Ghana education offices dodo a na ye de bema wo mo ni nyina no ye budgeti 84.4 million Ghana cedis menu mienu ye sika si ye de bebo aboa ye school pon awodo senior high school mako 717 na nso tie o say even though the modems were largely installed, the broadband service delivery was patchy at best. Just say, even when we shall say so, we broadband delivery no crowd. Enkoye, entraye, ma nyama troka. Or say with most schools reporting no internet connectivity crowd. Schools are who drop a brilliant internet connectivity crowd. Be a man connect internet in Palm Farm. Then so Adutwum any NAPO any busy internet a bow my Ghana chrono. Now I'm into us. Yet Busy Internet and its parent company lifted logistics, kept invoicing government. Omunye adwuma biano no more sending invoice at the government. Nati and the Ghana Education Ministry kept paying despite complaints from schools, heads, and project coordinators. Adwuma no omanye ni ye no, adwuma no a omunye ni ye no, na still on a Busy Internet the invoice ba. Or the banswa na oman Ghana na ye tia for no work done. When there were complaints, say shenko so schools ni bi ye connecti wo internet ma wo no aban ekufu ado. Chedi aban. Enye chebi o, eye chedi aban. Na omo che Ghana sikedi. Noble, happy birthday, my sister. May you live long. May God bless you. May your husband do you good. May your children love you. May you find favor whenever you are in the bedroom with your husband. Jemeso, amen. Today, dear, you have to give a contact 3 straight of doggy. No compromise. No dabi. Anyway, seriously, let me move on. So, what church and say monthly cost na see tia 6.3 million. She figure wenso. Me baba beka assembly about the figure. What the government of Ghana Timmy. Or see, even though the modems were largely installed, the broadband service delivery was what? Patchy. At best, most schools reporting no internet connectivity. Yet Busy Internet and its parent company, Lifted Logistics, were kept invoicing the government and education ministry, kept paying despite complaints from school heads and project coordinators. Now, also the Ministry of Education had made a total of 430 million Ghana cedis, 516,827 cedis, 11 pesos to Busy Internet Ghana Limited and Lifted Logistics Ghana Limited for the period between 3rd February 2020 and 24th October 2023. The Auditor General report for 2024 breaks the breakdown. Now, 2020, Busy Internet Ghana was paid 52 million Ghana cedis, 963,516 cedis, 7 pesos. 2021. So 2020, no. Who was the Minister of Education? NAPO was the Minister of Education. 2021, NAPO was also the Minister of Education. But the same 2021, no, Adutwum took over 2022 2023. That is the reason why me video, I'm referencing them. I'm a Minister of Education at the time. In fact, around the time 2020, 2021, NAPO being the Minister of Education, na Adutwum was the deputy. O free one or call energy sector, no, and Adutwum took over as the minister. What you say? 2022, Busy Internet, they were paid, a friend said 2021, they were paid 69 million Ghana cedis. Ebi were actually a dozen. 2022, they were paid 123 million Ghana cedis. Ebi were actually a dozen. 2023, they were paid 184 million Ghana cedis. Ebi were actually a dozen. Okay, coming in our bomwa from 2020 to 2023, no. Year 2020, year 24th October, no. Sika Ghana taxpayers' money, the Tiomoka, was around 430 million Ghana cedis, 516,872 cedis, 11 pesos. Now, perhaps what might outrage every Ghanaian taxpayer, the amount say ubufu, and I'm about to catch it, because you sika and yes, sir. You see. The reason why politicians take for granted the citizens, they say, we don't follow baby Ayesikano echo. Any day this Yesika the air. That is why I always say Ghana for the want to get involved in politics. Politicians will not take us for a ride. This is the secret in Europe, the secret in America, the secret in the United Kingdom. Because the citizens, no, they don't stand aloof. They don't just sit somewhere and, allow politicians to do whatever they like with their money. No way. They get involved. They demonstrate. They ask for good things. In fact, not just good, not better. They ask for the best service. That is the reason why politicians, in Europe, United Kingdom, America, and elsewhere, politicians are more active to give the best to their citizens. But Ghana, ya theater and fire home. Into area, media, I don't like politics or boy. He knows that the very moment you start loving politics, you will begin to question what Sikano away as or taxes ye day. That is why I tell people, people who say they don't love politics are wicked men and women. Because you must love politics. Politics simply means mind yourself. Mind wa free and who assembly eka. And who sika assembly eka. And who health assembly eka. And who defense assembly eka. So why don't you want to love politics? Why don't you love politics? And leave politics to some people like the Ken Oforiates, who will only come and steal you, siphon the money, and then go and save it somewhere in Europe, save it somewhere in America, and then be walking on the streets of America, going to good hospitals, attending good hospitals. What about you, the taxpayer? Because you are not getting involved. So let's learn to get involved. Let's preach the message. Let's tell a friend to tell a brother to tell a sister that from henceforth, if you love Ghana, follow politics. Let me tell you something. In the past 10 years, Ghanaians living abroad have contributed over 30 billion US dollar to Ghana's economy. Ghanaians abroad. Now, do you understand this? This is minus natural resources. Sika yenye free mo. Minus the taxes that they pay gold mining companies. I know certain gold mining companies who in a year, they pay not less than 3 billion, 4 billion for the government, to the government. So can you imagine? Where does all this money goes? Because the last time you went to your village, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, the same pothole street, and you are complaining because you are not getting involved. Why you won't fine boy? Why you won't fine girl? Oh, you attended at the Saddle College, you attended university, so you don't want to get involved. Get involved, be insulted. You must leave something for the unborn generation. It is critical. It is crucial. Do videos. Get involved. If you cannot do videos, share the videos. Because, yes, sir, anytime I tell you, it is not a guarantee to get a president as nice as Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Atta Mills, John Mahama, and some other president like the General Kutu Champons. No. Sometimes we can get wicked president, insensitive president like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the dwarf, as being referred by Black Rasta. So it is not guaranteed. Sir, in the next so and so years, we are going to get fine leaders like the Emmanuel Amakofi Bues, the John Dramani Mahames. No. Sometimes we can get people like Akufo-Addo. So let's get involved. Now let's continue and see how much Adutwum, who goes to church and then they lay their hands upon his head, he acts like Kenoforiata, but he is a thief, according to Auditor General report. I'm not making anything up. If I was making stories up, the time Akufo-Addo sent police officers to come after me, they would have arrested me. 3 good times here in the United Kingdom. Let's continue the story. Perhaps what might outrage every Ghanaian taxpayer is how the Ministry of Education completely surrendered control of the whole free Wi-Fi project to the vendor. Charity, welcome. Kwame Ani, welcome. George Dick Sin, welcome. Lami, welcome. Now you see, we must be concerned. You see, Ehemfana we see Kaneko. Alfred, welcome. Oshika mini ake fio. Sanobi. O takte se no chuo mini ake fio. Alo bi anebe bi o na shika tomo iloma say, well, when politicians are stealing your money, you don't care. Even if you don't care about the money, care about the country road, the bridges, the schools. Look how dilapidated Ghanaian schools look like. If you go to my village, you will cry. If you go to my village and you see the schools in Elembele, in the other constituency, Jomoro, hey! In Prekodain, it's even far better. In your talk, na school crying in the high school, no more coffee. Hey! In your no tender the bomb, na teacher na funny book or funny bag, nem kwadano, room. And Kwadani Kuskwa, Omucha Nsiu, they cross river. Omucha Nsiu. Me see, they cross river. It is good English. O translate here. Wa fashaho. Eyewara sema. The school people, no, they cross river to get to the school. Omucha Nsiu. Let's be concerned. The contract required a deployment of 3 major monitoring systems. Now, here is the monitoring systems we required from our contracting. Noble. Birthday girl is laughing. She's laughing. She loves when I say the people cross river. Hey. Some people have dirty mind. with good faces and good hearts. Let me continue. The contract required a deployment of 3 major monitoring systems, namely a network monitoring system to track uptime and outages, real-time dashboards, real-time data dashboards, and a professional ticketing and complaint handling platforms. Na yɛnhwɛ sɛ adeɛ wei a na yɛ require no a na ɛwɔ contract no contractor no ɔne Ministry of Education ɛyɛ NAPO ɛne Adutwum no ɔmo hwɛyɛ ma contractor ne di so ana yɛnkenkan yɛ. The contractor also mandates that the vendor give the officials of the Education Ministry access to these systems. This access would allow officials to see whether the ministry was getting value for money, but somehow, according to the Auditor General report, this crucial requirement was simply ignored. They ignored what? The basic requirement and they were documented. With all the amount of money I had here. Just to provide our schools with free Wi-Fi internet service so that they can browse, they can research, they can learn, they can go on the internet and search. That when somebody says that you are suffering from pseudological fantastica, I'm just saying, but there are more important things they could use the internet to do. Ninina, according to the Auditor General report, or say these requirements were ignored and the ministry appears never to have complained about it. Adutwum never complained about it. NAPO never complained about it. You know why? Because they were orchestrated to defraud the nation Ghana. So they never mind. Because they know that they are there to steal the nation, create, loot, and share, orchestrate, and defraud. They never mind. And just like you also watching me, you didn't also care to know what your monies were being used for. Value for money. The politicians know. Let's continue. According to the auditor report, the Ministry of Education relied on the vendor's own report to approve payment. You see the teamwork. Or no investigation, they rely on the vendor because Ome team up just to defraud us. The reason why they relied on the vendor because they no money the at the time. They knew what they were doing. It was an orchestration to defraud the nation. According to the auditor report, the Ministry of Education relied on the vendor's own report to approve payments. And when problems arose, which were constant, the officials of the Ministry of Education solely relied on the vendor. Busy Internet Ghana Limited's own technicians for updates. As such, there was no independent oversight, no way to verify claims, and no mechanism to hold the vendor accountable for poor performance, the audit revealed. And this Adutwum wants to be the flag bearer of the NPP. And NAPO wanted to be the vice president of Ghana. I have told you that Adutwum and the likes of NAPO and Co. are a disaster to the nation Ghana. They must not be allowed to get closer to even the gate of the Flagstaff House. They must not be allowed to get closer to even, the streets in front of Jubilee House. Hey, I hope you are watching. Are you watching? This is what NAPO and Adutwum did to the nation Ghana. Orchestrated and defraud Ghana over 500 million Ghana cedis. Almost 500 million Ghana cedis. You are not scared about these people. Yet they are eager to come back to power. Because now they have developed a high taste for good things. So they want to come and chop again. This time around, if we allow them to get closer to the seat of governance, Cecil, welcome. They will sell Cecil. They will sell Noble. They will sell Charity. They will sell Alfred. They will sell Philida Amanfo. They will sell everybody. If they are selling the human beings, what about Ghana? They will sell it cuckoo. It is serious. According to the Auditor General, he says, surprisingly, the ministries, listen here, surprisingly, the ministry's own ICT staff weren't trained on how to use most of the monitoring systems they were paying for. How can you, Ministry of Education, your own staff members, training? It reminds me when the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister under Akufo-Addo's time came to UK and we're having a conversation. In fact, it was a press briefing. And the minister was jobbing us. He was wagging his tongue. An old tongue, of course. And giving us all the raps. It was winter time. As if to say that he was ready to fuck us up. After saying everything, the staff at the Ghana High Commission told the minister, what you are saying, we don't even know about it. We've not been trained about what you are saying. This is how the NPP operate. This is how the NPP operated under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Somebody says, Ren, why do you keep talking about the NPP? Why don't you focus on the NDC? I said, the day that Roman Catholic will stop preaching about the coming of Christ, I will also stop talking about the NPP. For the NPP, I see them today. They are being led by thieves like Bawumia and Co. Thieves like Adutwum. That is why I come and preach to you that meneme, koname, sano chiohi. Because if you do not take care and they come back, this time it will be a disaster. Remember, they came first in 1966 through coup d'etat. And the Akufo-Addo came again. As for Akufo, he just came to do small. But the Akufo-Addo came again. And we've seen the results. Let's continue. He said they had access to just one dashboard, while other critical monitoring tools remained inaccessible to the ministry's ICT staff. Connected on paper, disconnected in reality. 3 years into the contract, no user satisfaction survey had been conducted to undermine whether beneficiaries' institutions were satisfied with the service. Yet in 2023, the Ministry of Education, Adutwum, Dr. Adutwum, remember the figure I told you, the 6.3? Now listen here. In 2023, the Minister of Education, increased monthly payment from 6.3 million Ghana cedis to 11.5 million Ghana cedis without any justification. Adutwum wants to be president. He wants to be in charge of your money so that he can chop the money. He has developed a high taste. They now wear Balenciaga. They now drive Rolls Royce. They now drive Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, McLaren. So they want more money. Look, when the Auditor General later sampled 224 of the 1,017 beneficiary institutions in a user satisfaction survey, the result revealed widespread dissatisfaction. The Auditor General result from the survey revealed that 97% of the users reported poor internet speed and latency. All of the users sampled, 100%, said the bandwidth was inadequate for their needs and had abandoned the service. 75% said technical problems remained unresolved for months, and none of those sampled, 0%, reported receiving regular maintenance. And yet, monies were paid. NAPO paid money. Adutwum also paid money. Maserati. George Dickinson loves Maserati. Timmy. Busy Internet contract breach. In the last 5 months of 2023, Busy Internet shortchanged Ghanaian taxpayers by billing schools like Achimota SHS, Ebiri Girls, Dabuasi SHS, Takwa, where my father was once a chief of Prestia, Takwa SHS for 30 days of internet service. The schools never received any internet. Yet, they were bailed. Bailing scheme. And they paid. This represented a pattern of systematic overcharging that affected over 400 schools across Ghana. Adutwum talks about education, Ministry of Education. He was a thief. That is why the so-called poor man, that is why the so-called poor guy wants to be president. He has stolen a lot of money. He is using the stolen money to campaign to become flag bearer of NPP. He is a thief. Yoko must pick him up immediately. As for NAPO, I know he has been visiting Yoko to and fro. But it is time for Yoko, Raymond Archer, Capo di Capo, to call Dr. Adutwum for this behavior. Interrogate him. Because it is too much. It is nauseating. It is uncalled for. Ladies and gentlemen, let me continue. He said, however, the contract between Busy Internet and the Ministry of Education was explicit. A detailed service legal agreement spelled out expectations for service quality, communication, and billing. Yet both sides failed to uphold them The Ministry of Education and Busy Internet failed to fulfill what was inside the contract. It is because it is orchestrated to defraud the nation. Pure thievery. Pure stealing. Nothing more, nothing less. We'll finish very soon. According to the contract, the vendor was to ensure 99% service availability to each school or education office. Any unplanned outages or service degradation were to be resolved within 4 hours of a reported fault. It is a school ni reported fault within 4 hours, the problem must be solved. But because the orchestration from the Ministry of Education, the minister, and it busy internet intino. One shemu kinampo amaya nye monetary value for money was lost. He had his plans to steal money so that he can use it to campaign and become flag bearer of NPP. If service was disrupted for more than 4 hours in a day, the vendor will lose payment for the full day. And if service was unavailable for more than half the month, the vendor would receive no payment at all for that month. Yet, Adutwum went to increase the monthly pay from 6.3 to 11.5 million. The audit report further revealed that the committee responsible for validating vendor claims should have rejected at least 14.5 million in charges because Busy Internet billed for internet service at locations where there was no service, no job done. Timmy, no job done, but Busy Internet billed internet service at locations where there was no service. Hey, you understand the story of the National Service Authority, where over 90-something thousand ghost names were used to siphon Ghana's money. This is another Ajana 1, Ajana 2. This is another stealing. This is the real Chobo. Adutwum act as if he's a pastor. He talk calmly and softly, soft-spoken, like Kenoforiata. They are all the same. They say the apple does not what? Fall far from what? Birds of the same feathers dwelleth in the same political party and steal the nation together. And together they steal the nation. Birds of the same feathers in the same dwell in the same political party together. And they steal. And together they steal the nation. Nyama nyama, poto poto. I will bring you a story on Esla Owusu, where a friend of mine met her at France. What was she doing there? She celebrated her birthday in Singapore. Why is Esla Owusu not coming to Ghana? I will come and tell you. How much has Esla Owusu stolen from Ghana? Where is she hiding those monies? Why is Esla Owusu in a foreign country and yet campaigning to be the women's organizer of the NPP party? Why is Jakbele Mene Oba Wobie Jakbele? We are not going anywhere. Ever since NPP lost, Esla Owusu has lost from the system of Ghana. Today you will see Esther Osu in Singapore. The next time you see her in Morocco. The next time you see her in France. Very soon the money will finish. And she will still face accountability. I am even surprised that Sam Jatta has kept quiet on Esther Osu. Why? Is he also doing a plea bargain with Esther Osu? Is Sam George doing a plea bargaining behind the closed doors? Behind closed doors with Esther Osu? These are questions we have to ask. Because Sam George has gone quiet. It's unusual of him. Unlike him. Bold. He speaks his mind. Pardon me. Maybe the alata in him, the ningo in him, maketh him to go wild. But it looks like this guy has been tamed. Is it Esther Osu that has tamed him? I will come and tell you. A lot is happening. I will tell you a warning from the president to some people, some ambassadors. Oh yes. Yetinsem. Ladies and gentlemen, I will end here. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum. Malaikum salam. Peace. May God bless our homeland Ghana. Make our nation great and strong. May He always give us the strength to be bold and speak truth. The last time some people called me from NPP camp, they said, Dr. Ren, you are a fine communicator. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia wants to meet you. He's coming to London this December. We want you to meet him. Do you know what I told them? I said, you know, light and darkness cannot meet. I am the light. He is the darkness. We can't meet. May He stay with you, those in darkness. But as for me in light, I have seen the light and I'm not returning. Take good care of yourself.